Hey, what's going on? This is another episode of the Reporter Vlog News. uh, with a triple header today. With some three heavyweight stories. Might have a little dust on them, but they're still useful. Um, a lot of things happening since the last time I did the episode. The Epstein files is still going strong as far as uh, or the effects of the Epstein's files are still going strong. And that's what pretty much the first story is pretty much all about. Um, so let's get right into it. 'Cause I got another job to do. It's pretty much all Epstein, or at least two of the three these stories. Okay, recently Trump has a signed, I guess you say, order that gave pretty much gave permission for the Epstein files to be released. And ever since that signing, I guess a little bit closer to that signing, a lot of people are resigning. And it's pretty much the first topic of the first story. The Crimson Harvard to open probe into former university's president Larry Summers' ties with Jeffrey Epstein. So let's get right into it, because like I said, I got another job to do. Okay, it's brought to you by it's brought to you by um, brought to you by CNN. Um, Pretty much 14 hours ago, updated 14 hours ago. Publisher being Hannah Park. I guess you say the co-publisher Taylor Romney. Okay, former Harvard president Larry Summers steps aside from teaching as the university probes into Jeffrey Epstein's documents. Former President Larry Summers will not finish out the semester to his instructor role. A Harvard spokesperson confirmed as the university investigates emails from Jeffrey Epstein released last week. Uh, Mr. Summers has decided that it's the best interest of the center for him to go on leave from his role as director as Harvard undertakes its review. Summers spokesperson Stephen Goldberg told the Associated Press his co-teachers will complete the remaining three class sessions of the courses he has been teaching from with them this semester. He is not scheduled to teach next semester. CNN has reached out to Summers for comment. Summers has served as director of the Monsavar Rahman Center for Business and Government at the Harvard Kennedy School since 2011. Pretty much, let's say, 14 years. Summers has announced earlier Wednesday he resigned from the OpenAI board as he steps away from his public commitments following the release of the Epstein emails. Our investigation in Summers' departure from the university and the OpenAI board come after the trove of emails was released last week. It included years of personal and correspondence between the two men. Mm-hmm. University is conducting a review of information concerning the individuals at Harvard, including the newly released Jeffrey Epstein's documents, to evaluate what. Nobody evaluate the actions that may be warranted. A Harvard spokesperson told CNN and said that Summers had communicated his decision to the university. The Harvard Crimson report first reported the story of Summers' early departure in the university's investigation. Crimson reported the investigation will also examine the roles of other people associated with the university who are implicated in the tens of thousands of pages released by the House Oversight Committee, including Summers' wife, a professor Merita uh, of American literature at Harvard, and nearly a dozen current and former Harvard affiliates. Man, oh man, I am deeply ashamed of my actions and recognize the pain they have caused. I take full responsibility for my misguided decision to continue communicating with Mr. Epstein, Summers said in a statement on Monday. Mm-mm. Summers served as Bill Clinton's Treasury Secretary and Barack Obama's Director of National Economic Council. He was president of the Harvard from '01 to '06. He resigned as the school's president amid multiple controversies, including his suggestion that men may perform better in the sciences because of genetic differences from women. He currently serves as the Charles W. Eliot University professor at Harvard. A previous investigation conducted by Harvard into the ties of Epstein revealed that multimillionaire who died by suicide in in jail while awaiting trial on charges accusing him of sexually abusing underage girls and running a sex trafficking ring, donated 9.1 million to the university between 1998 and 2008. Mm-hmm. No, let's repeat that again. A previous investigation conducted by Harvard into the ties of the to its ties to Epstein revealed that the multimillionaire who died by suicide in no jail while awaiting trial on charges accusing him of sexually abusing underage girls and running a sex trafficking ring donated 9.1 million to the university between 1998 and 2008. Mm. No donations were received after he pleaded guilty in '08. Yeah, because he was in jail. The state charges in Florida of one count of solicitation of prostitution and with a minor, according to the 2020 statement from then Harvard President Larry Bacal. Emails released last week included numerous exchanges between Summers and Epstein dating from at least 2013 to 2019, which included Summers making sexist marks, comments, and seeking Epstein's romantic advice. Man, oh man, yeah, you done. Yep. Congress on Tuesday approved a measure requiring the Justice Department to release all of its investigation files on Epstein within 30 days. The Senate unanimously agreed to pass the House back bill, meaning the measure will be sent to President Trump, which has already been, who has said that he will sign it, which he signed the legislation, which he already did. Oh man. In other words, it's pretty much I guess you say it's pretty much the first one to fall, first shoe to fall when it comes to Larry Summers. Yeah, the evidence is there. You just see the evidence is in the story. Epstein dating from at least 2019 to 2013 to 2019, which included Summers making sexist comments and seeking Epstein's romantic advice. Yeah, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. And here's the paragraph, the back end statement of previous investigation conducted by Harvard into the ties to Epstein revealed the multi-billionaire who died by suicide in jail while awaiting trial on charges accusing him of sexually abusing underage girls and running a sex trafficking ring. Donated 9.1 million to the university between 1998 and 2008. In other words, yep. Yeah, you done, Summers. You done. You done. Yep. Mm. I donate to your university. You keep quiet about what I'm doing, then we can still talk on the side. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Seems like it took until now for him to resign because the things heating up. It took him now to resign when all this time he's been quiet. But let's move on because, like I said, got another job to do. Okay, next story. The lab updates. Trump signs a bill directing DOJ to release Epstein case files. Okay, pretty much old, kind of like I said, old story, but still useful. Trump ended up signing the bill on the 19th to 2025. 2025. Okay, it's brought to you by CNN, of course. Updated 12:22 a.m. Uh, in Thursday, November 20th, 2025. What CNN covered, Trump's signature. President Donald Trump said on social media tonight that he has signed the bill that directs the DOJ to publicly release all its Jeffrey Epstein related files. For more on the fine print of the legislation, click here. Next step, the Attorney General Pam Bondi said the Department of Justice will continue to follow the law amid questions over. Oh, never mind. Here's the story. Okay, here's the story. It's 16 hours ago, 48 minutes ago. Trump signs bill compelling DOJ to release Epstein files. Is brought to you by CNN, of course, and with the publishers being Samantha Waldenberg and Alondra Dramillo. President Donald Trump announced Wednesday that he has signed the bill directing the Department of Justice to publicly release all its Jeffrey Epstein related files. Uh, Trump revealed the signing in a lengthy social media post framing the release of the files as a transparency effort he pushed through Congress and using the moment to criticize Democrats over their past association with Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein, who was charged by the Trump Justice Department in 2019, not the Democrats, Was a lifelong Democrat, donating thousands of dollars to Democratic politicians. It was deeply associated with many well-known Democrat figures. Trump said in a True Social post noting the Epstein's past associations with former President Bill Clinton and the Treasury Secretary Larry Summers, Lincoln co-founder Reid Hoffman, and others. Bill formerly titled the Epstein Files Transparency Act was passed by the House on Tuesday by a vote of 427 to 1. The Senate then agreed to unanimous consent that deemed the bill passed as soon as it was received from the House, which happened Wednesday morning. It is not immediately clear how the Justice Department will release the related files or if the information will remain tied up in ongoing investigations. President used the rest of the post to blast what he called years of politically motivated investigations, a tally that he described as his administration's accomplishments. This latest hoax will backfire on the Democrats just as all the rest have. Thank you for your attention to the matter. Make America great again, he concluded. Jeez. That's what he thinks. Because so far, it's been Clinton, a guy from Harvard. You truly think there's no Republicans on there? No. Nobody, nobody don't think that files are Republican free. Them files are not Republican free. If you do, you're under the spell of MAGA. You're under the spell of Trump. If you think that them files are pretty much Republican free. Okay, don't need to read the file. What they covered. Skip that. All right, let's keep it moving. But uh, if you want to get any comments on this second story, drop them in the comment section of this episode, and I'll pick it up. I'll pick them up. Okay, let's keep it moving. Okay, well, last story is pretty much a broken down case against one of Trump's hires, Comey. Judge goes Judge goes Justice Department for found investigative misstep. Look like he's gonna get out free. This happened 3 days ago. Like I said, it's kind of old. Got a little dust on it, but still useful. Uh, so let's get right into it. It's brought to you by LKY. I say it's brought to you by WLKY, updated 8:15 Eastern Standard Time by the AP on November 18th, 2025. With the publisher being Eric Tucker. Okay, Washington. The Justice Department engaged in a disturbing pattern of profound investigative missteps in the process of securing an indictment against former FBI Director James Comey. A federal judge ruled Monday and directing prosecutors to provide defense lawyers with all grand jury materials from the case. Those problems wrote Magistrate Judge William Fitzpatrick included fundamental misstatements of the law by a prosecutor to the grand jury that indicted Comey in September, the use of potentially privileged communications during the investigation and explained the irregularities in the transcript of grand jury proceedings. The court recognized the relief sought by the defense is rarely granted, Fitzpatrick wrote. However, the record points to a disturbing pattern of profound investigative missteps that led to FBI agents and a prosecutor to potentially undermine the integrity of the grand jury's proceedings. In the video above, 24-page opinion to the most blistering assessment yet by the judge of the Justice Department's actions leading up to the Comey indictment it underscores how procedural missteps and prosecutorial inexperience have combined to the imperial prosecution pushed by President Donald Trump for reasons separate and apart from the substance of the disputed allegations against Comey. Comey case in a separate prosecution of New York Attorney General Letitia James have hastened concerns that the Justice Department is being weaponized in pursuit of Trump's political opponents. Both defendants have filed multiple motions to dismiss the cases against them before trial, arguing that the prosecutions are improperly vindictive and that the prosecutor mm, and the prosecutor who filed the charges, Leslie Halligan, was illegally appointed. A different judge is expected to decide by Thanksgiving on the challenges by Comey and James to Halligan's appointment. Though grand jury proceedings are presumably secret, Comey's lawyers had sought records from the process out of the concern that irregularities have tainted the case. The sole prosecutor, whom lawyers say presented the case to the grand jury, was Halligan, a Washington former White House aide who, with no prior prosecutorial experience, who was appointed to make a former White House aide who, with no prior prosecutorial uh, mhm. Okay. Former White House aide with no prior prosecutorial experience, who was appointed with just days before the indictment to the job of interim U.S. Attorney of the Eastern District of Virginia. In his order on Monday, Fitzpatrick said that after reviewing the grand jury's transcript himself, he had come away deeply concerned about the integrity of the case. Here, the prosecutorial and substantive irregularities that occurred before the jury. grand jury and the manner in which evidence presented to the grand jury was collected and used may surprise to the level. Hmm. Evidence before the grand jury and the manner in which evidence presented to the grand jury was collected and used may rise to the level of the government's misconduct, resulting in the prejudice of to Mr. Comey, Fitzpatrick said. Justice Department responded to the ruling by asking it to be put on hold to give prosecutors time to file objections. The pro government said they believe Fitzpatrick may have misinterpreted some facts in issuing his ruling. On Monday evening, U.S. District Judge Michael Manoff, the Texas judge, froze the ruling pending on even the U.S. District Judge Michael Nachman now in the judge jury. Man, oh man. Okay. Monday evening, U.S. District Judge Michael Nachmanoff, the trial judge, froze the ruling pending on the resolution of the government's objections. We're going to get it through. Fitzpatrick's order ticked off nearly a dozen irregularities in the case that he said alarmed him. They included two different comments that the prosecutors were presumably Halligan made to the grand jury that he said represented fundamental misstatements of the law. The actual statements are blacked out, but Fitzpatrick said the prosecutors seem to have ignored the fact that a grand jury may not draw a negative influence about a person who exercises his right not to testify in front of it. Comey did not appear before the panel. He said she also appeared to suggest the grand jurors that they did not need to rely only on what was presented to them, and could instead be assured that there was additional evidence that would be presented at trial. Fitzpatrick also drew attention to a jumbled manner in which the indictment was obtained, and indicated that a transcript and the recording of the proceedings do not provide a full account of what occurred. Halligan initially saw three-count indictment of Comey, but after the grand jury rejected one of the three proposed counts and found probable cause to indict on Foley. Indictment on Comey, but after the grand jury rejected one of the three proposed counts and found probable cause to indict on the other two counts, a second two-count indictment was prepared and signed. But Fitzpatrick said the transcript and recording of the proceedings do not reflect any further communications after the grand jury being deliberating on the first indictment, creating what he said was on that was in the or unanswered questions of the grand jury began deliberating on the first indictment, creating what he said were unanswered questions whether to be rather creating what he said were unanswered questions about whether the record is complete. Either way, this unusual series of events. Either way, this unusual series is still not fully explained by the prosecutors declaration calls into question the presumption of regularity generally associated with the grand jury's proceedings and provides another genuine issue the defense may raise to challenge the manner in which the government obtained the indictment he wrote. The two count indictment charges Comey was lying to Congress on September 20th when he suggested under the questioning that he had not authorized FBI disclosure of information to the news media. His lawyer said that the question he was responding to was vague and confusing, but that the answer he gave to the Senate Judiciary Committee was literally true. The line of questioning from Senator Ted Cruz appeared to focus on whether Comey authorized his former Deputy Director Andrew McCabe to speak with the news media. But since the indictment, prosecutors have made clear that their indictment centers on the allegation that Comey permitted a separate person. Close friend to the Columbia University law professor Dan Richman to serve as an anonymous source of interaction with the reporter. Reporters. FBI executed separate warrants from 2019 to 2020 access messages between Richmond and Comey as part of the media leaks investigation that did not result in charges. But Fitzpatrick said he was concerned with the communications between the men that might have been protected by attorney-client privilege. Richmond has at times been a lawyer for Comey, were exposed to the grand jury without Comey having an opportunity to object. And FBI agent exposed to potentially privileged communications appeared before the grand jury. Government's decision to allow an agent who was exposed to potentially privileged information to testify before a grand jury is highly irregular and a radical departure from the past DOJ practice, Fitzpatrick wrote. All right, that was a long one, but that's hot news for you. I'll do the same thing like I did in my last story. Got any comments on that story as well? Just drop them in the comment section, and I'll pick them up. I appreciate it. I'll pick the story up. I'll pick the comments up. I'll answer the comments. But these are three heavyweights right there, especially the last one. Yeah, but the crazy thing about the last one is it's somebody that he hard. It's somebody that he hard. But once he went off, did something that Trump didn't like, he changed his tune. He came from a friend to a felon, a so-called friend, because that's all Trump cares about is loyalty. He don't really care about the person; he cares about the loyalty. Yeah, he don't really care about the person; he cares about the loyalty from that person. But that'll do it. I'm way past my time. 152. Y'all have a good one. This is another episode of the Reporter Vlog News. Y'all have a good one. I'm gone.